All right, guys. Good morning. Half an hour into the open here. Big gap on Monday. Sometimes I just like to let it watch before I get too much in my bias. I think it's easier to on Mondays, at least for me. But higher time frame here. Also, there really wasn't anything interesting this morning. The trade was clearly a short out of highs, but higher time frame, guys. We have that full halfway back short from basically the all-time high, just above last week's high. We came off the halfway back long from last week's Sunday night low to high on Thursday. From there, I'm going to get rid of the extended session now. From there, we traded a full 50% retracement long from that low of what was Thursday to Thursday's high. Now, it traded on Thursday, it retested on Friday. We have completed those targets here on the open. So we were coming in my opinion, the market here is biased long, but we're at target. So ideally, I just want to wait for a pullback. There is the full halfway back long. From what I would going to look for is Friday's low to high. That brings us back down into an 18,762. That's the setup I'm looking for right here today. Now, there is the possibility of us trading extensions from Thursday's high to high. We're through the negative 61. And if we, trade this, break back above resistance and come back into it, I'll take a look at it. That's going to be the most aggressive setup. We had a huge gap to here today, 2% into a new week. So kind of just going to have to let that settle out and see what's going on here. But this ideally, this 18,762 is the setup I want to see trade. If we're looking at the mid, upper mid, etc. here today, we are above the upper mid. We're far away from the mid, but I don't really like getting long above upper mids. Upper mid is going to be 18,870. So there's not a whole lot for me to do here because I'm not interested in longs so far above yesterday's midpoint. I do still think it's a highly volatile market, and coming back into that deeper pullback, whether it be today or later this week, is definitely on the table for this week. So 18,762 is really my sweet spot here for the day. If we get above those overnight highs, I'll probably look for a short setup. If we get above those overnight highs, I don't know if we will or if we won't, but if we do, that'll be a short setup maybe later in the day to begin looking for. All right, moving on to the ES. So ES is all the way back at this 5,500 full halfway back short. This 5,500 full halfway back short, probably going to be, the NASDAQ hasn't traded it. I think the ES is eventually going to break it, probably going to fill some of those gaps lower. We had maybe even make our way up to this week, like the 5,580 zone, which is there's a gap fill up there. Once again, we also did trade that full halfway back long last week on Thursday. That upside target is a 56.93, and when we get there, we're definitely going to want to respect that as resistance. That 56.93 is going to be, because we saw before a sell-off, the highs were profit targets, so it's just something to be aware of, that 56.93 when we get there. As far as where we are today, once again, huge gap. That's why I really didn't see much to do here this morning on the higher time frame setup, because we're so far, once again, above that upper mid, that orange line. I want to see us trade down into it. We have the possibility of the extension from Thursday's high, that end of day high to this morning's high. You could argue we've already traded the 38s of these draws, and that's where we're coming from. But we haven't even really got down. So the full halfway back from Friday's low to high, I'm not even going to bother drawing it right now because we're not close to it, but that setup would probably come into play. And then the other one I'm going to watch is going to be Thursday's high to high, and it might just be a while before it sets up. So where we're currently positioned, I don't really have anything on the higher time frame that's really important to me. So I'll be doing a whole lot of sitting around here. I am looking at CL here. I do like shorts in CL because we're so far extended um, in oil. At least we were this morning. We were, near the top of this range. I'd like to see CL get down into the halfway back long from Thursday's low to high, and that's going to be a 60.71. So that's going to be a trade setup. If we can sweep through what will be overnight lows into the end of the day, or maybe it happens in the overnight session, that is absolutely a long setup I'm looking for. But really, everything above this upper mid, if you can get a potential short setup above this upper mid, so this orange line here, which is 61.66, I think that market is worth trading here. We had a traditional this morning coming out of highs, aggressively front run by 4 ticks. We went straight to the negative 61, and then your next measured move is going to be here at 61.93. So we'll see if we can pop into that 61.93, and if we do, that's a valid short setup for CL. But that's really all I got here for this morning. I'll make some more comments in the afternoon, but right now where the market's positioned, we're just far ahead of where I want to be a buyer, and that's fine. I'm just not going to be participating in longs here at the top of the range. So I'll catch you guys in the Discord, and I'll jump on this